Hello, class. This is your instructor, AJ, for Innovations, Entrepreneurship, Business Environment, MBA 515. Now, receive a few questions about this week's assignment, and I wanted to actually go over it with you. Kind of give you some idea of what you should be writing in your paper, how to follow the rubric, etc. So, this week's assignment is 4-2. Final project milestone 2, SWOT analysis. Here it says, complete a SWOT analysis of the company you have decided to base your work on, whether it's a fictional or real world company. This analysis will be written viewing the company from inside to the outside. Okay, that's going to be very important. Inside, internal, to the outside, external. You will submit an organizational assessment of your company within the chosen market domain, that is. This assessment will determine the relative competitiveness of your company and demonstrate technical knowledge of assessment tools and techniques. This assessment will consider the total picture of your company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in relation to the current market environment, that is. So in other words, your SWOT and what's going on, your SWOT will be the internal and external portions of what's going on inside the company, which is internal, which is strengths and weaknesses, and opportunities and threats, which is external, which that's part of the SWOT. So it also says here this assessment should consider key aspects of the company, including its product, service mix, pricing, location, technology, marketing, human financial, and information resources. Ethics should be considered in completion of the SWOT as either a strength or weakness. So, do you plan on being an ethical company? I'm quite sure the answer is yes, especially considering most companies have to have at least some kind of social corporate responsible element to their formation. So it says discuss the direction of movement or trending of each of the four quadrants. Identify and elaborate on at least four each of the company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So let's take a look at the milestone rubric. So the first thing you should do is you definitely should read the rubric. And let me tell you why. All of this right here is just really a repeat of what I just read, kind of, sort of. But read it again to help yourself out. Now, it says specifically, you should include the following internal factors. And I'm about to give you some examples here. SWOT analysis. Complete a SWOT analysis on the internal factors that affect the readiness to compete. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats faced by the company relative to the competitive market? Here is a prime example. Let's just say you are starting a company where you are going to sell some kind of technology product, right? And the technology product is something proprietary to your company, something that you created, and there is no other person in the market there's no competitor in the market that has exactly what you have. So the fact that what you have is proprietary, meaning that it's your own, nobody else has it, that could be a strength. Now, the weakness, on the other hand, would juxtapose the strengths to weaknesses. A weakness could be the fact that what you're selling is such a new concept, it will take people, one, getting used to it because there's no, and this is a weakness, brand awareness. Okay? There's no brand awareness to what you're trying to sell. And if you're a new company, especially if you're a new company, there's no brand awareness of your company. Now, an opportunity could be, and opportunities are external. Remember, strengths and weaknesses are internal. Those are controllable forces. I spoke about this earlier And external forces or uncontrollable forces or external factors, that is, are things outside of your company, such as opportunity and threats. There might be an opportunity for your company to partner up with a name brand to actually legitimize what it is that you're doing. For example, let's just say you created this widget, this technology widget that could integrate very well with Apple products. Well, if you partner with Apple, there is an opportunity to partner with Apple. You partner with Apple, it might give you some credibility and make your brand, make people in the market more aware of your brand purely based on the fact that Apple has partnered with you. A great example of this, which a lot of people know about, Beats by Dre, the headphones. When Apple actually purchased it, and they purchased it for X amount of dollars, Apple actually expanded the reach and brand awareness of Beats. Okay, so let's just say if only a certain segment of the population knew about Beats, then that was a weakness. But once Apple took it and bought and purchased it and started promoting it, it went from it went from a brand that maybe only people in the United States know about to a global brand. Okay, so that would be an opportunity to partner up with some company that would be able to actually help spread your brand. Now, a threat that you could face is, say, if there's another company that has created something that's very similar to your product and they might be rushing to market. In other words, they're trying to release their product before you release your product. That could be a threat. Or any competition could be a threat to what you're trying to do. Now, moving on to number 2. Based on the SWOT analysis, create a prioritized list of strengths to exploit and weaknesses to mitigate. In other words, based on your strengths, based on what you're able to do, how are you going to mitigate those weaknesses, right? You might be an existing company, right? Because you're an existing company, say as an Apple, people already know about you and you're coming out with a new product. Well, people may not, the weakness is they may not be aware of the new product, but because you're the strength of Apple, it mitigates that weakness because people will automatically relate your new product to being that of high quality because it is that of Apple. Okay, it goes, each item in your list should have supporting rationale. All right, but let me just tell you something else about the weaknesses, right? I mentioned there's an opportunity to partner up with someone. Well, that opportunity to partner could actually mitigate that weakness as well. Because why? Because if you're not known in the market and say that's a weakness, but if you partner up with a well-known company by taking advantage of an opportunity, then guess what? Then all of a sudden you've mitigated that weakness because that well-known company that partnered up with you is validating you, saying, oh yeah, this company is great or this product is great. That's why we're able to partner with them. Okay, so readiness based on internal factors. Evaluate the company's readiness to compete in the business environment of the market domain. Support your evaluation with information from your market domain evaluation and SWOT analysis. In other words, what makes you ready to compete, right? And tell us why you can compete and how you can compete. And do understand this one simple fact that because these are internal factors, like I posted in the discussion, we don't know. We have absolutely no idea what those things are. But by you putting those things in your paper, I'm the only one who gets to read it, by the way. By putting those things in your paper, then guess what? You automatically saying that, okay, this is our process. This is something that's proprietary to us, so we'll be able to compete. Now, the final thing is guidelines for your paper. Now, I know there's been some people who say, well, I don't need a reference page, or I don't need this. And I have not shared that information with who said that, other than I've said to the few people that said, no reference page is needed. is that, yeah, you do need a reference page because look here, it says your paper you must submit should be 8 to 10 pages, APA style, Word document, meaning not a PDF, Word document with double spacing, not triple spacing, because I've seen some papers with triple spacing, not counting the cover and the reference page. Now, you can actually create a chart, a SWOT chart, and actually put that as an appendix at the end of your paper, or you can actually embed that in your paper when you're explaining stuff. And of course, just be sure to follow the APA rules and then have at least 3 authoritative sources cited in APA format. Here's some of the things that you want to avoid. Avoid the use of personal pronouns such as I. Okay, avoid I. Avoid putting citations, a whole citation in your paper that actually it's not an in-text citation, which is an author, comma year, or author year, and comma in pages. That, you know, if you're citing a book, but you're putting the whole actual citation that should be in the references. So definitely avoid that. And I know this video is 11 minutes. Yes, it is long, but when it comes to this type of thing, I really want to make sure that you guys are well aware of how to do well on this paper. And by the way, you all are doing very well, and I really appreciate you as a class. And until I see you on the discussion boards, take care.